All right. I'm watching the attendee ticker skyrocket right now, which is fun. So to everyone that is still coming in, thank you in advance for spending some time with us today. I know time is incredibly valuable right now, so thank you in advance for being willing to join Clayton and I today. Thrilled to be joined by Clayton Kammerer of Arryved, I believe calling in from Boulder, Colorado. Is that right?
That's where we're headquartered. I'm personally one of the remote employees, been that way for a while.
And where are you?
I'm in Missoula, Montana.
Oh, not bad.
A little cold.
Not bad at all. Yes, a little bit cold, but man, beautiful part of the country. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, we'll give a little bit more time here. Great turnout so far, which is not surprising from an Arryved crowd. It looks like we've just about leveled off. Cool. Let's go ahead and get started. So again, for those of us just joining and already missed my thank you message, thank you for joining. We've got Clayton Kammerer from Arryved joining me today, apparently from Missoula, Montana, where it's very cold. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina at Ekos HQ. So for those teammates or whoever that may have missed or may be missing today's webinar, this will be recorded and we will email it to you after today's session. So obviously you are welcome to circulate that as you like, or if you want to watch us again, hard to blame you. So we did get a handful of questions with your registration links already. So to those that have already submitted questions, thank you. I'm sure additional questions will come up. We will do the best we can getting through as many as we can, and feel free to just drop those in the Q&A function in your Zoom. So without further ado, Ekos plus Arryved. So before, I guess, more formally introducing Clayton, quick background on me. My name is Landon. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Ekos. I have been with Ekos for a little over a year now. I actually joined on Halloween of 2019, and that made for a fun initiation day for me. And yes, the Ekos team takes Halloween very, very seriously, so I did this up on day one. My role at Ekos is to build and manage partnerships programs that better support our customers in the industry as a whole. A big part of that is building out integrations partnerships on our platform. So not only sourcing integrations at the front end, but then actually executing and then growing the partnerships over the long term. So partners like Arryved drive a ton of value for Ekos customers. Arryved is a best-in-class point of service that was specifically built for the craft industry. So by connecting to Arryved, we at Ekos can stay focused on what we do best, which is inventory management and business management. When these two systems are connected, you as the customer are getting access to the best software on the market for each component of your business. Neither Arryved nor Ekos is trying to be a jack of all trades, master of none system. We know where we need to specialize and excel, and that's exactly what we do by connecting the two. You obviously get tremendous value from both systems. So many of you all are not currently customers of Ekos. Let's start at the very, very beginning. What is Ekos? So Ekos is an end-to-end business management system that helps craft businesses better manage their inventory, production, sales, and accounting processes. Within that, we give you a real-time view of your facility to help you track on-hand inventory and manage production workflows. We give you the data and insight into production costs and profitability by product. This allows you to make better business decisions related to production and sales. Additionally, our forecasting tools allow you to order ahead on raw materials, packaging materials, so that your business is always staying ahead of its production processes. We are cloud-based, so your team can access the platform at any time, from anywhere, and on any device. So whether you're on the production floor, or out in the field selling, you can stay on top of your data in real time without having to juggle notebooks, Post-it notes, spreadsheets, or the dreaded email or voicemail itself, which I am very guilty of. So we take all of the data from your business, we are able to automatically generate TTV and excise tax reports. If any of you out there have done that yourself, you know what a painful and arduous process that is, both from a time standpoint and also from a mental health standpoint. So that capability in Ekos will save you hours, if not days, on your reporting. Lastly, we take all of this business data and sync it over to your QuickBooks and your Xero account, which pulls you out of your books on a day-to-day basis and allows you to focus on your business. So that's a lot of functionality that was just covered on one slide. What does all of this really do for your business? So Ekos offers unlimited user logins, and as a matter of best practice, we highly recommend that your whole back of house staff, effectively anybody that's not in the tap room or tasting room, fully adopts Ekos. So with your team working in one place in real time, you are all able to work much more cohesively as a single unit without having to chase down information from every different team within the business, which ultimately makes you all more efficient, more productive, more collaborative, and of course, more profitable. So because every piece of data generated within your business from the moment that you purchase ingredients through the sale of your finished goods is captured in one place, you will be better equipped with data and insights that you need to make better decisions about your business. So once again, I'm thrilled to be joined by Clayton Kammerer of our good friends at Arryved today. So Clayton, I'll let you turn it over, I will turn it over to you and let you introduce the Arryved platform.
All right, Landon, thank you. Yeah, everybody that's come here, thank you. I won't be too crazy about myself, but just so you know, I've been a little bit involved in the industry for a long time, I'd say. I've worked probably in about half a dozen restaurants, including a couple brew pubs. I've owned my own business as well that focused on sort of events where I actually dealt with hundreds of breweries and restaurants and small businesses around the country. So I've always been a fan of small business. That's kind of been my passion forte. I've been here with Arryved for about a year and a half now, and have had the opportunity to deal with hundreds of breweries around the country. So I think we can talk a little bit about how Arryved can maybe benefit you. There we go. Okay, yeah, just getting used to this thing here. So Arryved, if you were to have a demo with me, one of the things I would tell you is that we really are the all-in-one solution for the craft brewing industry. So regardless of what kind of craft you are, or if you have a kitchen or anything like that, you're going to need a point of sale. And I think that Arryved is sort of a place to go. So a couple kind of things that really make us a little bit unique is that, again, it's all in one. And we're going to talk about a lot of the features here. And of course, Landon will talk about how we work really well together though. But the general vision is we really were built by craft people for craft people. And I think that says a lot. So we were built in a tap room, literally, for a brewery there. You know, every single element, therefore, is going to be built specifically for businesses, just like all of you. All of our customers are craft related. So it's really nice for us as a point of service to have one customer group that we understand and, you know, have worked in, like myself and all of my coworkers as well, so that we can continue to refine a system that's basically able to provide all the elements of your service of the highest level to every one of your guests every time. So no matter how small or how big you might get, or how crazy 2020 or future years, right, might be, we're going to be that adaptable platform that allows you to quickly pivot and change and adapt and basically flourish no matter what happens. So there's a couple kind of key benefits related to Arryved that I would say are pretty unique and beneficial to the craft industry in general. Like I was talking about, we are built of craft people. I mean, that knowledge base where all of our staff as well as our customers, it's all about the people, right? So we're able to kind of learn and distill the different trends around the industry, refine our product always. So we grow with you, we help you grow, but we grow with you. And our business model is very much that way too, which we can get into. But it's really a flexible solution as well. So again, whether you're like changing to the newest phase of a COVID lockdown, or whether you're adding a second location, or whether you're adding a beer garden, or maybe a food truck that you've taken over, or you want to expand beyond just one tap hall area, add new beers. It doesn't really matter. The solution that we have is really going to have not only the ability to service every single guest in different ways, but the kind of the top to bottom too, as far as a retail side, is going to be involved in the tap room too. So it's intuitive, it's going to be customizable. There's a lot of features that you can use with that as well. I want to talk about a couple of those specifically, but whether you want to leverage QR code, contactless payment, a advanced loyalty platform, a mobile point of sale, ticket to go, floating service, it doesn't really matter. We're going to have any type of solution that you need. So some features for craft makers that I think are important to talk about here. Insights. So we were built by data people. Our co-founders actually worked for Google. They like data. We take the data that you have in your business, distill that into meaningful knowledge, and allow you to have access to insights that will really help you understand your business in a way that maybe you didn't even realize that you were able to understand. So a cornerstone to that is the analytics, the reports. There's over 95 built-in reports. Now, I know that might sound a little bit like a scary number, but they are all customizable. You're able to kind of tailor one specifically to your needs. Everybody has their own set of favorites. I really think with sort of the versatility there, if you like high fidelity data, you're going to be able to have insights on just about everything. As far as what some of those unique things might be, well, of course, you're going to have insights on your sales. I mean, that goes without saying, that's your bread and butter. But there are some advanced features that I kind of think are a little unique to Arryved and to you as a craft brewing establishment. We do track every single one of your servings, whether it's pints, growlers, flights, tasters, to-go beer, kegs, it doesn't matter, by the ounce. So you're going to be able to have metrics and inventory depletion that are going to allow you to understand sort of that full picture, backing it up to where Ekos is, but then what's happening in your tap room, right? So every time you serve and pour to any one of your guests, that depletion is going to be managed automatically. So it's kind of a real-time solution there as well. We do have some other fun things too, like if a keg deposit feature, that's a really nifty, I would say, way of handling that, right? If you ever want to sell a keg, you want it back, so you might charge a deposit for that. We have kind of a gap compliant way of tracking that full circle, so you're able to see where those are at any point in time and sort of manage that from an accounting perspective cleanly. Your accountant would like that as well. And then really going back to that all-in-one too, some other products, that a lot of breweries, I'm sure you've seen it too, or you may or may not already have it if you're an existing brewery, are things like an advanced loyalty program, right? So rewards, whether it's that, spend more, earn more type of program, or maybe direct marketing where you want to send custom tailored emails specifically to some of your guests and loyal patrons and drive traffic, right? If you want to drive them to your online store, that's another thing we have built in. So if you want to do pickup and curbside or delivery, even serving in the tap room through an online platform like a phone app, QR code, there's really going to have all of those features for you. Now, if you're thinking that sounds like way too much, we're just a smaller brewery, we only need to start like that too. It's the same situation. We have the opportunity to tailor each Arryved build out to every one of our customers. So we know you're very unique, and Arryved is a unique system that is uniquely deployed for everybody. So it really is something that you get exactly the features and things that you're going to need in order to serve your guests the best every single time, right? So you've already got the exceptional beer, the exceptional environment. That's why people shop. We don't want that point of sale getting in your way. In fact, it should be almost invisible to the customer in a way that it's seamless every single time.
No, that's great insight. And I think that last piece is especially poignant. So Clayton, thanks. So the Ekos and Arryved integration came to be because, as you just heard from Clayton, both teams share a passion for all things craft. That's all we do. Ekos was founded in 2014 as at the time, a core inventory management system for breweries. Since that, we've added capability to be a full business management suite for all craft alcohol producers, or craft beverage producers, I should say, and Arryved has followed a similar path. So Clayton, I believe you all got your start in craft beer as well, and you've since expanded to service cider, wine, kombucha, seltzer, mead, you name it. If it's craft alcohol, you guys do it. So our companies, what does that really mean? Our companies did not build generic systems that could meet the basic needs of all, but the advanced needs of none. We were built for craft beverage. We both got our starts in the exact same places. And again, that has created a lot of cultural alignment between our companies that we really appreciate day in and day out. So at the beginning of this presentation, I talked a lot about the value of connecting best-in-class platforms. Arryved is a huge component of that, but your accounting software is an important piece of your ecosystem as well. So in the center of this, again, broader ecosystem, we have Ekos. Ekos is your system of record for inventory, accounting, sales, and production data. Now, whether you're selling online or on-premise, Arryved will send transaction and payment data over to Ekos. Once in Ekos will generate an invoice in order to deplete the finished goods inventory, account for the cost of goods sold, and generate the journal entry that is then sent over to your accounting platform, regardless of whether you use QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or Xero. So because these three systems are connected, your taproom, tasting room data is able to flow seamlessly all the way through your business and inventory management system, and then ultimately into your books. So let's talk value. Perhaps most importantly, this integration is going to save you a whole lot of time. Manual data entry and reconciliation across three different systems, Arryved, Ekos, and your books, is incredibly time intensive. Now, the Arryved integration itself will save you 2 to 3 hours a week. Then when you add your accounting integration on top of that, you'll probably pick up another 4 to 5 hours a week. We actually have a couple of customers, I know Wolf's Ridge being one, that says they save 5 to 10 hours a week on your accounting integration. So in total, by connecting these three systems, you're getting yourself almost an entire day back from your week. And again, these are not fun things that you would be doing otherwise in data entry, data reconciliation, and then of course, you're also picking up on the added benefit of all but eliminating human error. Second, this integration helps ensure that your finished goods inventory is always accurate. So the rest of your business is always able to stay ahead of the taproom, tasting room, or your online sales channels so that you can better plan your upcoming sales. You can manage your different sales channels and how you choose to allocate inventory across those channels, avoid stockouts, and perhaps most importantly, kickstart your production far in advance so that you're able to produce well ahead of your demand. So said another way, what we're really talking about here is data. Data gives you better visibility into your business and will ultimately allow you to thrive. With the Arryved integration, you're automatically generating cost of goods sold data, which allows you to see profitability at a very granular level, including by product. So this, combined with more accurate inventory depletion data, will equip you to make better decisions across your business. Again, planning production, pricing products, managing your sales channels, or as our friend Patrick Lively here at Lively Beer Works says, determining when it's time to raise capital and helping you acquire that capital when you determine it is the right fit. And not to mention, when your business has cleaner data and better reporting, your lenders are more likely to stay happy if and when you do choose to go down that route. So again, Lively Beer Works is a great customer for Ekos. We love Patrick and his team. Clayton, I know your team has enjoyed working with them as well. To hear them tell it, and they've used the integration for a bit now. They save 45 minutes a day. Again, this is time that adds up 3 to 4 hours per week by syncing Ekos, QuickBooks, and Arryved, helping them to save time, work smarter, and again, that last key element of giving them better visibility into their core metric. And again, this is the group from the last slide that actually used this integration among the three platforms to go out and acquire capital. So Clayton, quick background on Lively. Tell me how they came to be in the Arryved world.
Yeah, no, you're right, Landon. I think Lively actually represents a really good example of a I mean, one of our new customers pretty much. So any new brewery, you're doing your due diligence, you're looking at point of sale, you're looking at production, you're looking at accounting, that kind of thing. Well, the Lively ownership had worked in and even owned a couple other breweries before, part of their management team. And so they knew they wanted to get it right going in this time. So not that the others weren't, but, you know, Arryved with being a newer system for Lively at the time. So they came in last year, had demos with us, obviously you as well. And I think that represents pretty much the perfect, you know, the trinity there. It's probably one of the most common groups of everything I've seen. I know that something around 95% of our, you know, breweries, that sort of thing, overlapping here, use QuickBooks. And I think we share an enormous amount of customers as well. It's really a great example to start off right, because one of the features that they really were drawn beyond some of the things I mentioned is just simply how intuitive, right? If you've ever been at a restaurant or brewery and, you know, you ask your staff or your server to go split something, oh, they're gone for 20 minutes. They got to figure out how to operate the computer, right? Those legacy systems. It's none of that, right? Slick, intuitive, easy to use, filters right back into your production with Ekos, talks to your accounting. I mean, they've done the due diligence for us.
Yeah, that's good insight, Clayton. I think your point, and I give Arryved a tremendous amount of credit because you all have done a really good job getting in front of those breweries and planning that haven't yet opened and trying to get them on that best-in-class system from day one. You know, other folks at Arryved and I have talked about, there are some businesses that are just naturally going to use Internet Explorer. Well, what about those businesses that want to seek out that best-in-class, the Google Chrome or the Firefox? I mean, those are the ones that are really trying to separate themselves and not just take the generic solution that comes down the pipeline, but get things right from day one. And so I think Lively is a great example. They came out at the outset with Arryved in their tap room with Ekos, and now obviously they're able to connect the two and drive a lot more efficiency and ultimately profitability for the business.
Yeah, and despite of what the changing environment brings, right? So it's that ability to adapt quickly as well.
Yeah, so Iowa Brewing is another great case study that we've been able to work with the Arryved team on. Again, the common theme here is time saving and accuracy, right? And better able to reallocate those resources that would otherwise be spent just doing basic data reconciliation. Now they're able to go back and focus on the operations of the business, the production, and the sales components of the business. Anything else to add on Iowa? I know they're a group that you all think highly of as well.
Yeah, Iowa represents kind of the other half. So Lively being that first group of new breweries, startup, it's easy when you get going, you know, no missteps type of thing. But if you're an existing brewery and you have a point of sale, then you're like, it's not servicing everything I need. That's where we kind of come in there. And so they were a good example where they demoed with us a couple key features that were really important. I mean, it seems like it goes without saying, obviously, but you know, you don't have to hold on to a card, right? If you're trying to keep a tab, swipe it and give it back. They wanted the ability to track the quantities of finished goods. So kind of that, you know, retail side of finished good inventory being key for them. They also realized real quick that the insights, the data I was talking about, cut down a lot on the work that they have to do to kind of understand their business and make sense of it. Whereas, you know, our 95 reports that are included were able to sort of pretty much provide what they needed out of the gate. The one other thing sort of on that too is they were a little risk adverse coming in. You know, changes are hard. You know, previous point of sale keep you in a contract. Arryved, we've done away with that entirely. There is no contract of any kind, and I think they had nothing to lose. And if you ask them, right, themselves, that's kind of, I think, a good testament for it.
Yep. So we're starting to run up against time here. I know there are a number of questions here coming through the Q&A. So thank you for contributing to those questions, and obviously keep them coming. We'll get to as many as we can. So how to get started? First of all, I want to be very clear. The Ekos team and the Arryved team work very, very closely together. So whether it's Clayton and I, or you know, other teams or other members at Ekos, other members at Arryved, we are constantly communicating or collaborating. So if you're looking to get in touch with the Ekos team, you can always reach out to Arryved. If you're looking to get in touch with the Arryved team, you can always reach out to Ekos. If you are looking to get started with Ekos, number of ways you can do that. Number one, you can go to our website, click the very brief lead form, the get pricing form. That will put you in touch with our sales team immediately. They are very quick. They will get back to you typically same day. You will also get a follow-up email for this webinar. You can reply to that or click through the links there. That will also enable you to get in touch with our sales team. You're also welcome to email me, Landon@goecos.com. Again, that's Landon@goecos.com. And I can point you wherever you need to go. Again, the Arryved team is only a step away. And if you're a current Ecos customer and want to evaluate the integration or want to evaluate Arryved as a platform, we cannot recommend Arryved highly enough. And we can definitely put you in touch with those folks. As far as onboarding goes, for those of you that may not be on Ecos yet, our typical onboarding journey is roughly 4 weeks, and that is to get everyone in your core business management ecosystem. So that's your production team, your sales team, your ops team, even your CPAs, your bookkeepers, consultants, to get all of those people trained and onboarded in Ecos. Now, for our prospective new customers that are a little bit more focused and are able to accelerate this, we definitely have customers that beat this 4-week timeline. But you will have a customer success person working with you hand in hand to make sure that you're successful from day one in getting started with the software. We also have a support team that offers unlimited support for you by phone, email, and chat. And we have a guaranteed 1-day response time, and we take that very seriously. So we're always on it. Again, no matter what you need for your business, whether it's Ecos related, whether you're looking for just guidance or connectivity to great partners like Arryved, we work very, very closely with those folks. So we can really help you with anything you need. For existing customers, Ecos customers that are either wanting to learn more about Arryved or you may already be on Arryved and you're looking to activate the integration, again, you can reach out to me, Landon@goecos.com, and I can put you in touch with the appropriate folks. We will have similarly, we will have a customized onboarding journey for you to get started with POS. It's not 4 weeks. We'll typically have one call with you just to help share best practices, make sure your items are mapped appropriately between the two systems so that you can be successful from day one. So, Q&A time. Clayton, I'm going to start with a softball. How does Arryved specifically serve craft makers?
Specifically, well, there's a couple key things that I would go to. I do think the people are a huge thing, right? We take a vested interest from the top of every, launch that we have. So we're going to sit down and kind of consult and really understand what your goals are, basically what your experience that you're looking to conduct with your guests, and sort of provide that level of expertise as well. Now, we're going to do a lot of the work for you when it comes to the point of sale build out. Okay, so we're going to be able to understand what you're doing, make our recommendations, take that all in, get you set up, build everything out so you don't have to do all that kind of annoying stuff, train everyone on it, and then their staff as well too, and flip it live. So that's just kind of like the people part of it. I would also add to the expandability, right, which can function differently depending on what you're trying to do. COVID being a good example of how things can change, right? So if you need to maybe do some floating service where you have phones and your staff is going around, or even allowing guests to order from the tables themselves via like a QR code or things like that, or you just want to do traditional counter service and people can go up to the bar and order like that, it really doesn't matter. We've got options for all of those. And then the analytics, taking all of that wrapped up together, so that way you can understand your business better. Of course, market directly to your most loyal customers, which are the people that really help keep you afloat as well, and drive traffic when you need it too. So it's bringing it all together and making sure that you have all of the tools that you potentially could ever need through your point of service here, so that you can have the best tap room experience every time.
Awesome. Cool, thank you. So I've got a couple questions here that I will knock out that are related specifically to the integration. First is, how can this integration help me with inventory management? So first of all, Ecos is an inventory management system, so that is inherently what we do. The integration specifically, so when you are selling out of your tap room, and this is kind of, again, basically how the integration works itself. You're creating, sales and transaction payment data. All of that's being generated in your tap room. The sync between the two systems happens with the click of a button. So we pull that payment and transaction data, we deplete your finished goods inventory and immediately calculate your cost of goods sold so that you have that direct insight into profitability at an extremely granular level. And then this goes kind of into the next point. So there's an automation process there. Going to the next point, what triggers the push of the information from Arryved to Ekos and then to QuickBooks? So once that data comes into Ekos, that will create an invoice in your Ekos instance. You click post, one little click of a button, and once that invoice is posted, sent over to QuickBooks or Xero or whatever accounting platform you use. So it is a relatively hands-off process. All of the data being sent back and forth is handled through our pretty intuitive back-end business logic. And you need to do nothing more than just click a couple buttons. Couple questions on integrations with other POS or e-commerce providers. I would say, broadly speaking, Ekos is looking to become a more open and connected system. So you will see integrations be a priority for us in the coming months and years. For now, we are really, really happy with our integration with Arryved. We have a lot of customer crossover with them. We do also integrate with Square. We do not have any immediate plans to integrate with other point of sale systems right now. That's not to say it's not going to happen. Eventually, who knows what happens over the course of 2021, but if you are looking to connect your Ekos instance to your point of sale today, or even first quarter of 2021, I would highly encourage you to talk to the folks at Arryved. They are best in class. Our customers love them, and they are focused on all things craft. So not only are they a great point of service, but because they live and breathe craft every day, they're going to be in tune with the day-to-day headwinds and tailwinds of your business as well. Okay, moving over here now to some of the live Q&A that's coming through. Can Arryved work with our Shopify website? We need POS, but we don't want to change our website. Clayton, am I understanding correctly that the two do not integrate currently?
It's not a direct integration with Shopify. No, it isn't. And of course, the reason for an integration is to have that all seamless. But we do provide actually a built-in online platform that sort of actually serves as a really nice alternative to Shopify. Sort of depending on the complexity of what you're looking to do. The one thing that we currently don't have the ability to do easily is if you're shipping like beer around, that's not something our online platform does. But if it's just like, merch and you're shipping merch, or if it's curbside or pickup or delivery, or even the in-person sort of online platform, we're going to have all that included. Okay. So it's something that's just built in with our web platform. You're going to get your own URL. It's white labeled, it's customizable, and it looks actually really quite nice too. So I think, a lot of times our folks are just looking to use that. It may or may not be better than what you're already having, but when you could probably save quite a bit of money, it might be worth looking at it.
Yeah, I'll plug Arryved there as well. So when the pandemic hit, the Arryved team worked literally days, nights, weekends to get an online store functionality up to their customers, because again, you have tap rooms, tasting rooms closing, your local distributed draft is shut down because of bars and restaurants, 90% of your revenue is gone. And all of a sudden you need to look to other online or to other sales channels to replace that. They were really, really quick in getting their online store capability up and running. And I believe it was last week, Clayton, 2 weeks ago, sometime this month, they released a revamped version of their online store, which comes with much greater customization. So you can really inject your brand into your online store. So yes, Clayton, I keep up with everything you guys are doing. The online stores are awesome, what you guys have done there. So yeah, to anyone out there who has an Arryved point of sale and is maybe looking at, or maybe has a different online store solution, talk to Clayton's team. Again, we're happy to get you in touch. They do have a very robust online store that is continuing to get better. So let's see. Yes, so somebody's asking about Carmen. I know I've seen that name a couple of times, so thank you for attending multiple webinars, and I'm sorry you've had to put up with me the whole time. Wanted to clarify TouchB Bistro capability. we use TouchB Bistro for our pub, tasting room, and restaurant. Will we have to move to Arryved to fully make the integration work? The short answer is yes. We did not integrate with TouchB Bistro. We may have that capability available in 2021, maybe. But if you're looking to connect your systems immediately, yes, we would definitely encourage you to look at Arryved. Judy, good question. How does Ekos know which beer from Arryved is sold? Do they have to be named the same, and how do they know which batch of that beer? Great question. So we had a beta version of this integration earlier this year, in which the naming conventions in your point of service, point of sale, had to exactly match that in Ekos. And we've made that a little bit more intuitive now. So if there are spacing issues, or maybe it's a syntax issue where the words are ordered differently in one system or the other, the ecosystem will generally know to pick up on that. But even if not, it's a very, very easy process to map the two, and it's only something that has to be done once. Again, typically, we should be able to pick up on that automatically, but in the case that there's enough variance between the two naming conventions that it does require you to step in and confirm, once you do it one time, that's it. You'll never have to do it again. Let's see if I got all of that question. Yes. So do you deplete by the ounce? So my assumption there, Morgan, thank you for the question. My assumption there is you're asking about keg depletions. That is not something that the integration currently supports in terms of telling you exactly how much of your kegs is gone. Although Arryved, Clayton, I think you may support that in the point of sale directly, correct?
Yeah, that is something supported directly in the point of sale. So if you're concerned with your keg depletion or vessel depletion out of your tap room, we're going to do all that automatically. So as you ring in and serve flights or growlers or crowlers or pints or what have you, it'll attribute the correct amount of ounces that you want for each size, obviously, back to that specific vessel. So as the vessels complete or finish, you simply let the kit system know, hit a little button, it's going to timestamp that. Therefore, you have the full utilization, your ROI loss, all of that kind of stuff right there. Of course, if you're looking at this in real time, because it is a real-time solution too, you can see your active kegs and basically their capacity depletion levels or the utilization. So you can kind of know and forecast when things are about to, go empty and that sort of thing.
Awesome, thank you. I've got a long question here, so I'm kind of working my way through it. So basically talking about, this is a question from Tony. Asking about how cost of goods sold is allocated. So we do allocate cost of goods sold to the at the finished good level, and our sales team can walk you through exactly how that looks in Ekos. I know Clayton's talked a lot about it reporting in Arryved. We have 150 standard reports in Ekos with infinite, basically, custom reports beyond that. You can cut and slice reports any which way. So we can give you cost of goods sold at a pretty granular level in Ekos. And if you're interested in learning more about that, number one, yes, it will make your cost of goods sold data more clean. And if you're interested in learning more about that, please reach out to me or our sales team, and we can walk you through that and show you exactly how that will work with your specific business setup. Question from Jeff. How do you handle or distinguish between sales and inventory of house beer versus guest beer? So I'll take that on an integration level. And Clayton, if you have anything in Arryved, you may or may not, feel free to jump in. So because you are not producing guest beer in your Ekos instance, my recommendation would probably be to set up your guest beer as a non-inventory item in Ekos, because we will still pull that data. If it's a non-inventory item, naturally, you're not going to be depleting the inventory. And we don't have, as a non-inventory item, we also don't have the production cost data, but you do still recognize the revenue from that transaction that is synced over to your books. So again, ecosystem, all these things play together. So the value of capturing these transactions is not just for depleting inventory in Ekos, but it's also making sure that it shows up in your books appropriately and in the right account. So again, our sales team, success team can help you set up for your specific situation. I would say for that question, the same answer applies to food sales. We do, if you're just selling peanuts and pretzels and snacks, yes, you can set those up. Merchandise, same thing. Set those up as an inventory item in Ekos, and we can deplete against that. For brew pubs and restaurants, most of our customers set up their food, like let's say you're actually making hamburgers in-house, or you're making pizza in-house and not just bringing in the finished good and pushing it back out from another vendor. We would probably recommend setting those up as non-inventory items as well, so that you can still pull that revenue data and make sure that it shows up appropriately into your books. That said, if you want to show that as inventory, we can do that as well. It's probably just going to take a little bit more customization with our sales and support teams to make sure that, again, we're tailoring the integration so that it works best for your business.
I did just want to add a little bit there, Landon, that Arryved does have good ways of accounting for that as well. There's actually several ways to go about doing that. I think one of the more common ways, though, is attributing guest beers to either its own independent size, if you will, so you can still attribute the inventory and cost of goods, but then it'd probably be, no dollars. That's like house beers, that kind of thing. You can also use the comp tool too. So the system does recognize the difference of the value of inventory and what are sold. So if I've sold 4 pints, then my employee drank 1, you'll have the revenue recognized for the first 4, obviously. And then the value of that revenue recognized on the comp level. So you're still able to kind of see like, oh, I've moved this much beer. How did it move, and what sizes and sort of to whom. So the level of granularity, obviously, that you can get down on that just depends on how much detail you pretty much want to go. But yeah, there's some really creative ways that I think are a really clean way of accounting for that.
Okay, awesome. A couple of questions that are coming in, and for us, feel free to keep the questions coming, and we'll get to as many as we can. From Sonia. So I touched on this a little bit, but there's some nuance to this question. So thank you again for the question, Sonia. We have a separate restaurant that runs out of our kitchen. We would like to combine their food and our beer onto one Arryved ticket. How easy is that to do with 2 different companies? Clayton, you want to take that from an Arryved standpoint, and then I can talk about the integration?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward, but there's a caveat, and it's sort of if you're willing to do this. So basically, the way it works in general is if it's 2 separate companies, when you take money in from a customer, like meaning on your point of sale, like I'm a guest and I bought beer and some food, is that money has to end up directly from that point of transaction in a single bank, basically. So it's the mid-level, right? Because you can't separate the risk. So Arryved, though, does all the reporting to separate it differently by categories, meaning you can have a customer buy food and beer on a single ticket. It would say, brewery X, whatever their tab was, and they get one thing that shows up on their bank statement. But then the percentage of the revenue, obviously, and taxes that are the brewery's responsibility can be bucketed over here. And then the food, restaurant, other business, LLC, bucketed over there. So the caveat is that you would want basically an operating agreement between yourself, the brewery, and that other business. Obviously, if you have the same business, it's fine. What I normally see a lot of people that are doing this, and we have a lot of them, is they just like cut the one a check, every week or whatever type of thing. So it's like the left hand can still see the right hand all the time. The reporting from Arryved is going to have all that. I do like to make it clear, though, that from customer's bank to your bank, it's one transaction, and then from there is where you can separate it.
Yeah, that's great, Clayton. Thanks. Tacking on to that, I think Clayton's suggestion of funneling that data through Ekos and into your books may be the cleanest way. And then, you basically pay, you generate a payment from your books to reimburse your partner for their food sales. But that would at least ensure that you're getting clean data in there. If you control both businesses, but have them connected to two separate books, two different sets of books. Let's talk to our sales team about that, because they can probably help you with a cleaner solution than Clayton and I sitting here on the phone. But definitely a good question. Clayton, I think this one's for you from Rochelle. How does the QR code work for sales? Does the customer scan the QR code and pay from their phone?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, but I will elaborate. So how I mentioned earlier is we've got the built-in online platform that can do separate modalities. And so one of the modalities, if you will, is what we call in-person or served, right? Meaning that guest is physically in your establishment, but they're using the online platform via QR code in this case, rather than you like swiping a card on yours. So what happens is with any smartphone, Android or iPhone, a guest can look at a QR code, maybe you tape it to the table, have it on a table tent or a sign or whatever. Look at me, right? So with their camera, they do that. The QR code is linked to a specific URL that we give you, which is your Arryved store platform for that modality. And that's exactly what it is. So it's going to pull up that little website on their phone, where they could see like, oh, I want this kind of beer, that kind of beer, some food, whatever. And then typically they go to checkout. That's where you can ask information depending on your process. What a lot of people tell the customer to feed them is, what table number are you at? And it usually says that on the table, of course, next to the QR code. So they put that in, collect the payment info, the ID or whatever is needed there. And then you get the order, right? It's going to automatically print or show up on digital display screens everywhere you want it to. So kitchen, bar, whatever, menu board, that kind of thing. You fulfill the order like you would any other order, basically, because it's, seamlessly integrated. So then you can just kind of run that out, click done on your point of sale so that it's already been taken out to that guest. It's quite a seamless process, actually. So a lot of people are using that in response to COVID, I would say. And again, that's included. You don't get any additional upcharges from Arryved. Everything there is just all part of our system if you want.
Clayton, I think, oh, here we go. Can Arryved import historical data from our current POS system, specifically ShopKeep? They would put value in that data if you can do it.
Yeah, I'm going to say mostly no, because I think I know what you're asking. If you're looking for all sort of the sales data and that sort of thing, I'm going to tell you that there are no any point of sales, be it Arryved or anyone else for that matter, that can take that data set from that API and cleanly import it into our system. So typically it's we're going to build that all out. Now, everything that we have is exportable and can be formatted. It's all spreadsheets basically. So when I see a lot of people transfer over, around half of our customers are transfers, is you can just export those relevant reports, because we probably have a lot of the same reports and then some that you would have on ShopKeep there. So it's a little more manual where you have the Arryved going forward, but then you can merge your spreadsheets together, and that's how you have it. Now, if you're looking to import certain things like gift card liabilities, that is something that we do. So if you have a gift card program and you don't want to reset all those, that sort of stuff, or you have a loyalty program and you want people to have the same balances, we can import those kinds of things. Yeah, no problem.
And Joan, what I would say to that is, and you mentioned total sales data, top selling SKUs, revenue by product, busy times of day, with everything except that last part, Ekos can help you with that. So again, we would still encourage you to go talk to the folks at Arryved, and Ekos can help you with that historical data. It's not going to show up in your point of sale system, it doesn't sound like, but it still can show up in your business management system. And we can give you visibility to that historical sales data. So it's not going to be a direct integration with ShopKeep, but like any other non-integrated POS system, you can still create those invoices to give you better data. A couple more questions coming in from an anonymous attendee. This may have been answered, but is the push from Arryved to Ekos a daily transfer? We recommend daily. So this is not an automatic sync. We want to allow you to pull data as you see fit. So it's just a click of a button to send your transaction file over to Ekos. We do recommend that you do that daily. because the longer, it's like any data management practice, right? I mean, the longer you go without uploading your data, the more likelihood or the more margin for error you introduce to the process. So yes, we definitely recommend daily syncs from Arryved to Ekos. If that feels burdensome for whatever reason, I would say at a minimum, we would probably recommend that you sync at least 3 to 4 days a week. And those 3 to 4 days would probably, you'd probably lean more heavily on your busier days. So your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in most cases, to make sure that you're not bundling your full weekend data into one sync into Ekos, at least not consistently. Clayton, question for you. Could we better integrate comps if we put QR codes in parking locations for curbside pickup?
Better integrate comps. I don't, if I'm understanding that correctly, I don't think so. And what I mean is the QR codes system is basically, you have one QR code. Okay, so we don't have like a whole bunch of them for everybody. Meaning you're going to have one as your establishment that drives everybody to that online platform, and so they would then put in the table indicator there. If I think what you meant is like, would you have a comp specifically for, this, if you're over here or over there, those kind of different nuances, like a QR code having a comp built in, that's not something that it does, at least currently. You can provide, or you will be able to provide here, like discount codes. I mean, so you can give them a code, like a password basically, and they could enter that on there. That's something you'll be able to do, but it's not like tied in directly to a QR code. If that answers the question.
Cool. Well, Clayton, we did it. We got every question. So thank you. Thank you for joining us. Again, we always enjoy doing things with the Arryved team. So thanks for joining us today. For all of you that spent almost an hour with Clayton and I today, again, thank you. I know how valuable your time is, especially right now with everything going on. So I can't tell you how much, from both of our full teams, how much we appreciate the time. If you need anything else from either of us, again, you can reach out to me directly at landon@goecos.com, and we hope to talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Clayton, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.